So I got this super cute teapot at Goodwill for about $5, and my plan is to polish this up and put it in our short-term rental with some spring flowers for our guests. All right, so I have everything I need here to polish the teapot. So I have gloves, Moz metal polish, which I was told is really, really good stuff, a soft cloth, and paper under the object so I don't make a big mess on my countertops. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna dip the cloth in the metal polish, like so. And then we're going to apply it to the object. And you see I have a little piece of blue tape here. I do that so we can distinguish what is something that was imperated versus something I got at Goodwill. Just so we know how precious something is and whether it's okay to put it in the rental or if it's something that we want to keep in the house to ourselves. Because the pieces that I get at Goodwill are often so nice, it's hard to remember. And you may be asking yourself, why, Rebecca, are you using a teapot for flowers? And the answer is, why not? It's absolutely adorable as a vase and unexpected and a little bit of luxury that you probably wouldn't expect to find when you're renting an Airbnb or short-term rental. So we've wiped on. Now we can wipe off. We're going to use a clean part of the cloth. What do we think? Is that looking better? That's some good tarnish we're getting off there. And I really love polishing silver. I know it's kind of an antiquated practice, but it's something I enjoy. I just love being able to take something that you know is meant to be beautiful, that's tarnished, and clean it up and bring it back to its glory. And I just feel like it's a metaphor for life, that even though something has some history and maybe some tarnish, with some love and attention, you can bring it back to its glory and celebrate it. So it's a little metaphor for life, and wow, look at that. There's some tarnish. What do you think about how shiny and lovely this is? And what I'm thinking for flowers, we have this beautiful forsythia. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Growing right now, blooming right now in our garden. It is April. And when I can use, would you look at that? When I can use our garden's flowers instead of store-bought, I always prefer to do that. Both because I'm watching our dollars, and also because I think it just adds an extra special touch when something comes out of your own garden. Don't you think that's just a little more personal and unique than using something out of the store when you can? In the winter, I buy flowers, but in the spring and summer and fall, when they're still blooming, I use what we have. Can you see this? How amazing that is looking. And you do want to use a soft cloth versus paper towel. Even though they're disposable, they can scratch the silver plate, and you don't want to do that. It's a little teapot, short and stout. Look at how cute. It came out beautifully. All that shine and luster. It's really great. So I'm gonna take this over to the sink. We'll give it a little wash and dry, and then we can go pick some flowers. Okay, so we're gonna give this a little rinse, and the instructions were to use dish soap. I have this. And I always like to pay particular attention to the crevices because that's where the polish kind of gets stuck. Okay. And I have a clean cloth and we're just going to dry it. Look at how shiny and gorgeous that is. And now we can go cut some flowers and set this in the carriage house. So we're in our garden and we're going to be cutting some forsythia. Because it's early April, there isn't much in bloom, but these are, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and I want to incorporate them in the rental. So let's go. I have these fantastic shears here. These really make it possible for me to cut these thicker branches. I also use these for gardening my roses, for trimming back my roses. They're just great. So we're going to look for a branch with lots of flowers on it. Maybe we'll start with this one. And now that I have my first one selected and I feel like this is a good length for the teapot, I'm going to try and measure more branches the same size. And we can tip them upside down if there's more flowers one side versus the other. And I don't know how many we need, but we do want to fill the teapot up a bit so it feels abundant. This one's pretty prolific. I don't know if these shears are going to work here though. This is a thick branch. And they did. And you do want to be careful not to cut your own fingers when you're doing this. And I'm pruning in the garden so that I don't make a big mess when I go into the house with these and need to trim them back. What do we think? Maybe a couple more? This one looks good. And this one looks really, really good. This is what they call field pruning, where you do your cutbacks outside versus inside to avoid messes. And I think that's pretty good. So let's head back. We'll put these in some water in the teapot and bring it over to the carriage house. All right, so we're in our short-term rental and I have our teapot and our flowers and a glass. And this is a little trick that I do when I'm adding flowers to a metal vase or a silver-plated vase. I drop a glass filled with water into the vessel so that I don't have to worry about the chemicals reacting negatively with the flowers. The chemicals you might have used to clean it, or the metal alloys and how they respond to the flowers if they're too acidic or too alkaline and the flowers don't like it. So a glass is neutral and you can put the water in here, add the flowers to this, and then they're gonna be happy. So that's what we're gonna do now. So I'm just gonna put the water in here. So I take my teapot and my glass of water, and I'm going to carefully drop this in. And you want to do this nice and slow so you don't break the glass. And see, it fits perfectly. You're not even going to be able to see it's there. And then I'm going to add my flowers to that. How cute. All right, so I'm going to be adding our arrangement to our welcome area, and we have our beautifully polished silver-plated teapot from Goodwill and the flowers from our garden in a glass with water. And it just adds a little extra touch of luxury for our guests so they know how much we value them. And we were able to do it really inexpensively. It's a big bang for a little buck with a $5 silver-plated teapot from Goodwill and fresh, beautiful flowers from the garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe, follow us, and can't wait to see you next time.